So I am genuinely excited about this light, mainly for the fact that if I do turn this on, there's no cords on there, and obviously it turns on. There is a battery inside, and I can actually use this for up to 40 minutes at 100% power, but you can also power it directly through this USB-C and the VB99 Pro. So this is their new V-mount battery that you can literally attach to this and power this light, which is amazing. We got a lot to get through. The specs of this thing, potential downsides, obviously the competitors, which is massive. So let's get into it. So my friends, I hope you're all doing absolutely fantastic. If you are new on our channel, please consider subscribing. Thank you to each and every one of you guys that have subscribed, because obviously if you haven't noticed, we hit 100,000. But you're here to talk about this and see what this thing has to offer. But I'm going to show you what this light can do and the reasons why I actually am really excited about this one. So also in this video, I'm going to show you 3 different ways I currently actually utilize this light to really make my videos pop. But first, let's go through some of the specs of these 2 devices. So the Smallrig RC60B has an inbuilt battery which you can use up to 40 minutes at full power. The internal battery capacity is at 3400 milliamp hours or roughly 48 watt hours. You can also do up to 100 watt power delivery through the USB-C input. The cob light is bicolor, which has a range from 6500 Kelvin to 2700 Kelvin. It has a small 1.3 inch color display screen, and the total unit weighs 750 grams. It also comes with a clamp for your V-mount battery, a small handle, a light stand mount, a USB-C cord, and a mini reflector. Now the Smallrig VB99 Pro is a mini V-mount battery. It has a battery capacity of 99 watt hours. It has 2 USB-C ports. One of them is an input and output, and the second one is an output. It has 1 USB-A port and 2 DC ports. One of them is a 12 volt out and the other DC port is an 8 volt out. And on the side, you have a DTAP port. So right off the start, we have to talk about that inbuilt battery, and that is my favorite feature about this, because 40 minutes at 100% is pretty awesome. Like obviously most shoots are going to last over an hour, maybe 2 hours, depending on what you're actually going to be utilizing this for, but that's where this comes into play, or any kind of V-mount battery or any kind of battery whatsoever, because you can actually plug it directly into this USB-C and power this light directly through that, which is amazing. And just the light by itself gives you so much versatility into where you can actually position these lights. And also in this video at the end, I want to talk about my rig here as well, and why utilizing this Smallrig V-mount battery is extremely handy, specifically to power a whole bunch of these accessories that I've got on here. So we got to talk about the competition. I think that's one of the main reasons why this light is really impressive, because no one is doing this out there. No one. When it comes to a small cube-shaped cob light, there's a lot of brands that actually have this particular style, but you do obviously have to power them directly through a cord. And this essentially is the first one that actually has a battery inbuilt. Now sure, there are little LED panels that you can get and have been able to get for absolutely forever, but it is a very different light comparing an LED panel to a cob light, because you do have this sort of mini Bowens mount, and this allows you to attach the little reflector that's given inside the box. But also if you attach the light stand at the bottom, you can utilize an umbrella which gives off a really soft light, and you can actually use this as a really nice soft key light. But I do believe in the near future, Smallrig will most likely offer some diffusers. Now, one of the biggest ways I actually utilize a light like this is a rim light. Like you can literally see a rim light on here right now. I actually have a really cheap version of this. I can't even remember what brand is hanging up there. And it's so light that I've actually got it mounted up there, and it's literally just giving me a rim light. And I'd actually do this in a lot of my video shoots as well. And when you actually have something so small and so versatile, it's just so much easier to work with on set. And you can see here in the recent fitness shoots that we just did, you do have the Smallrig RC60B just outside the frame, giving it a little bit of a rim light. Now, another way that I can actually use this, and obviously not necessarily too much because I do have a projector and gobo set, but essentially what I've done mainly with the bigger Smallrig light is I shine it through trees, and I can actually get a more dappled lighting effect on walls. So if you don't actually have a gobo or projector, you can do this, and it just really gives more character to that wall as opposed to it being just really plain and bland. Now, the third way I actually love using this is the effects. So there's been a couple of scenes where I've needed to replicate TV, and essentially you can have like this sort of bold mode where it flashes on and off, and you can literally just sit in front of the talent and make it look like they're watching a TV, because, you know, obviously when you watch a TV, the light sort of flickers a bit. It's not really a constant light. So there's a whole bunch of effects that you can actually do in here that makes it so much more usable than just a regular LED light. So it actually does have a pretty nice 1.3 inch color display, which, I mean, we don't necessarily need color displays on these things. It's not really that useful, but it is actually quite bright when you actually see this outside, and you're probably not going to be using this outside. I mean, unless you want just a rim light, but as a key light, it's probably not going to be powerful enough. You may actually want something that's, you know, the RC350B, which is obviously so much more powerful than a 60B. So this is going to look a little bit different. To test the fan that's actually in the light, I've just been lit by my window right now, so there's no lights on in this room, but I have an umbrella on the RC60B, so I'm going to turn that on and see what it actually will hear, what it actually sounds like in this normal position. So the decibel reader is at about 30, so we'll turn the light on and hear what it can actually pick up. I mean, we're talking a couple of decibels there, nothing major. So if I were to use this in an interview setup, I mean, as a main light, absolutely I could, but even if it was a rim light as well, at about the same distance away, I would be perfectly happy using this. So now the VB99 Pro, this is their second version. So this is the Pro version essentially. And there's a couple of things that have changed. So you still got a D-tap on the side. You've got the power button on the opposite side. It's the ports that have changed this time. So you actually have two USB-C ports. One of them is an in and out, and the other one is just an out. And then you actually have two DC ports. One of them is 12 volts out, and one of them is 8 volts out. And also, when it comes to this V-mount battery, you do have a color display on the front here. Once again, not really that useful. It doesn't necessarily need to be color, but at least you can see what kind of battery charge you got on the front. It's not necessarily crazy bright, but it's definitely enough for what it's intended to do. Now, there's one minor feature that I know a lot of people probably won't talk about, but I do actually find quite useful, and that it's got a 3/8 mount and a 1/4-20 mount on it, this V-mount part at the back. So if you don't actually have a V-mount battery plate where you can lock this into, you can actually screw it into a cheese plate or anything that you need to try and attach this battery. And I mean, it just adds to the versatility of where you can place this battery and how you can actually mount it to whatever you're trying to power. So now when we actually pair both of these together, the RC60B actually has this indent at the top and the bottom, and it comes with this little clamp, which is pretty nifty. All you need to do is clamp that at the top, clamp it at the bottom, and it literally just stays in there actually quite well. The one thing I don't like is this back clamp here. So this is where you put the V-mount battery, and I really just don't like the design. I really wish that this was designed that it had the V-mount battery actually in the light itself, just like cinema cameras where you literally clip the V-mount battery on and it powers directly through the V-mount battery. But if you do actually have a power bank, this probably actually would work fairly decently. And look, I know they're Smallrig, and I know that they can actually design a V-mount battery clamp, and I know they probably will, and it will be a very good option if they actually create a V-mount clamp that literally clamps this on and it can't wriggle off. Now let's take a look at the VB99 Pro when it comes to mounting this on a cinema rig and the reasons why I like it. So the 12 volt DC out is extremely useful for powering the Ninja V. And then also if you're trying to power the fan to cool down the camera, you need a USB-C. For this one, for instance, the USB-C out is very handy in this situation. And then lastly, you can actually power the camera through one of these USB-C ports as well, which this battery is just giving you so much more versatility than most of the older batteries would. Because a lot of my older batteries that I've got literally just have a D-tap port and a USB-A, which USB-A isn't really useful these days because so many things have USB-C. So look, overall, when it comes to the features, the specs, the price, these are fantastic, especially this RC60B. I absolutely love this thing. Obviously the link will be in the description below if you do want to check these out. They definitely come recommended by me, so yeah, thanks for watching guys. I hope you enjoyed this one, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's get it.